Alright everyone, welcome back for the third tutorial in this series of constitutional design. In the previous tutorial we have sort of looked at the case study of South Africa and how apartheid was like widespread and prevalent in South Africa, and how the white rulers, so to speak, the white minority, were oppressing the black majority and in fact the colored people as well. Right. So now, when we have already noticed the struggle, we are going to be seeing how exactly did the ethnic people emerge victorious, and how eventually was a new constitution drafted for this country of South Africa. Right. So we had left it off at a point wherein the African National Congress had started to step up its ante, and had started to protest and demonstrate and do all of those things. And eventually, over a course of time, these protests and struggles in South Africa increased manifold. Right, by the time in which the government realized that they could not keep the blacks under control through oppression, so this was not a way out for them. Right, so this was not possible for them any longer, and eventually it came over to the point where the white government, so to speak, had to concede defeat, and they realized that they could not really continue in this manner any longer. The international pressure was also really high, and they eventually had to step down. Right, when they did step down, obviously all these racist discriminatory laws were abolished. The ban that existed on political parties was lifted. Censorship was abolished. Right, all the typical things which happen when any brutal regime or dictatorship comes to an end. Right, and obviously the hero of the story, who's Nelson Mandela, was released from prison after 28 years of being put in jail by the white government. Right, he is also released. Right, and of course he goes on to become the first president of independent South Africa, but that is at a later point of time. However, our discussion is going to revolve around the constitution itself, and on the 26th of April 1994, this is an important date, the new flag of South Africa, of course, as a democratic country, was unfurled, and with that the apartheid government eventually came to an end. Right, and now what happens is, this could have gone in any which manner. Yeah, right, this could have gone in any which manner. The whites and the blacks could have again started fighting with each other, or there could have been communal riots. Right, like India and Pakistan, like when we were partitioned, for instance, we had communal riots. But surprisingly enough, this was a very non-violent process. So credit to South Africa. This was a very non-violent protest, right, wherein the transition of power from the white government to the ethnic government happened in a very peaceful and a very calm manner. Right, and to the extent that after the birth of South Africa as a newly formed democracy, right, the black leaders such as Nelson Mandela urged their fellow citizens to forgive the whites for all the atrocities that they may have committed during the regime. Right, so that feeling of universal brotherhood, that feeling of peaceful coexistence that we keep talking about, which is also called fraternity, right, that became an integral value for the South African nation after independence. Right, so this I have written over here. So in this example of peaceful coexistence, the party that ruled by oppression, that is the whites, and the party that led the struggle, that is the African National Congress, sat together. Right, this is very unreal. Sat together to draft the new constitution of South Africa. Am I being clear? So it is not only the blacks who drafted the constitution, or it is not only the whites who drafted the constitution. Both the oppressor and the oppressed sat together in order to draft a new constitution for independent South Africa. Right, and eventually, after a long period of 2 years of debating, discussing, deliberating, so on and so forth with one another, back and forth, they ended up producing one of the finest constitutions in the world. Right, And South African constitution is actually a very beautiful constitution, because if you read the constitution you will realize that it is a constitution which gives some of the most extensive fundamental rights to anybody in the nation, right? There is a lot of rights that are given to citizens, compared to some of the largest democracies in the world. A lot of rights are given to the citizens, available in any country. That is why I mentioned this. This is a USP, unique selling proposition, right? It's a USP, right? And the moral of the story is that everyone became a part of the solution. The whites became a part of the solution, the blacks became a part of the solution, the colored people who existed, of course the Indians who were living in South Africa, they also became a part of the solution, right? Irrespective of what they may have done in the past. Am I being clear? Right? Irrespective of what they may have done in the past. So this is extremely unique. I'm sure you'll agree with me. Right? This is extremely unique. Am I making sense? Right? So with this, I'm going to come to an end on this part of the discussion, right? We will carry this forward a little bit when we see why do we need a constitution and so on and so forth in the next tutorial. So please have a good day and take care, and please watch out for the next tutorial as well. Thank you and bye-bye.